Let's go to Occupy Oakland, or the environs at least. And for the latest on Scott Olsen, I'm joined again by his roommate, fellow Marine veteran and activist in Iraq, Veterans Against the War, Keith Shannon. Keith, thanks for your time tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Were you in the hospital today?
I was this morning, and I had to go to work all day.
Did you get to see him?
No. Unfortunately, the doctors are not letting me in, even though Scott and his parents have asked them to let me.
What are you hearing about, we heard the clip from the doctor before, what are you hearing about his communication skills and the doctor's hopes for his recovery?
They have high hopes for it. I talked to his dad right before I came over here, and a speech therapist was on his way in to start working with Scott on that.
So it's a rebuild process as opposed to something that's that is going to require surgery. Has surgery been ruled out yet?
I don't believe it's been ruled out, although I believe it's not as likely as it was before.
Good. How are you mentioned his parents? How are they holding up?
They seem to be doing well. I haven't talked to them very much because they're not allowed to be on the cell phone in the room with him, so they have to go outside in order to talk to me. But they seem to be doing pretty well. They're obviously still worried, but happy that he's doing better. His sister has also arrived today and is in there with him.
Do you know, was he awake? Was he up from the sedation already yesterday when Mayor Kwan came to the hospital to apologize?
I didn't get the chance to ask them about that yet, so I'm still wanting to get details on that as well.
Do you know, is he aware of the vigils and the other support around the country?
I told his parents about it last night. I'm sure they passed it on to him. I don't know if he knows the extent of it, but I'm sure he knows about them.
Now, have you been back to Frank Ogawa Plaza?
I went there yesterday for the vigil. I was one of the people that talked along with some other Iraq Veterans Against the War members at his vigil.
So what do you think is next for the protest movement after the sort of farce that it turned into last night? Not the protest, but Mayor Kwan's attempt to go and talk to Occupy Oakland.
I think it's just going to keep growing. I mean, you can't put business hours on free speech or your right to protest. So I think more and more people are going to show up, and the more they try to shut it down, the bigger it's going to get.
And the idea of not being able to be there overnight, is this being taken seriously?
No, they already had tents set up. I don't think anybody's going to leave.
Keith Shannon, Scott Olsen's roommate, fellow Marine veteran and activist in Iraq, Veterans Against the War. Many thanks for coming on the program.
Thanks, Ken.